What Jonah Hill's and Keke Palmer's boyfriends' partners indicate about dominating boyfriends. Darius Jackson, the father of actress Keke Palmer's child, came under fire last week for his outspoken criticism of an attire she wore to usher Raymond's Las Vegas show that he thought was improper for a mother. A few days later, Jonah Hill's ex-girlfriend Sarah Brady went public with some frightening messages she claims the actor sent her throughout their relationship, which she describes as emotionally abusive. Hill instructs Brady to remove any surfing photographs or videos that expose her as an ass and a thong off her Instagram page. He also gave her a list of things she couldn't do if they were going to be together. Jackson's childish Twitter outburst and Hill's emotionally manipulative messages are hardly surprising when you think about the instinct that drove them. In patriarchal societies, men have always controlled women. Whether through marriage, child-rearing culture or norms around beauty and dress, the suppression of women's bodies has been repackaged into the neat forms of purity, good parenting and what's acceptable in polite society. Hill, for his part, relied on a mixture of thoroughly manipulative therapy speak and good old-fashioned slut-shaming to keep his then-girlfriend in line. What's most objectionable about the messages is his blatant use of his own mental health journey as a means to control Brady. Hill has spoken very publicly about his body image issues and his mental health, and even made a documentary about his therapist. I imagine that watching him turn on her using his newly discovered therapy language must have been nothing short of traumatizing for Brady. No matter how they spin it, the boundaries these guys are attempting to maintain in telling their spouses how to dress are intended to humble and rein in women who are at ease in their own skin. And the reaction to this confidence can be particularly violent for Black women. By publicly condemning her, Jackson exposes her to more of the misogyny she's been struggling with since she became pregnant. People have questioned why these men wouldn't simply date women who share the same boundaries they evidently value. Palmer has always been gregarious, witty, and unafraid to be her true self, but Brady was already a surf instructor when Hill reached her on Instagram, allegedly drawn in by one of the very photographs he went on to dislike. At first, he complimented and flirted with me over the same surf photo that he subsequently dubbed in a shot and was upset that I didn't take it down. Angry I didn't read his mind, Brady wrote about the connection in a text message to a pal. Being able to tame a woman whose freedom these men were initially attracted to is part of the thrill of entering into these relationships. If you ask me, this dissonance is part of the point. There's no control if there's no behavior to police or correct. And sadly, being able to tame a woman whose freedom these men were initially attracted to is part of the thrill of entering into these relationships. It's as despicable as it is contradictory. And in the place where purity culture and the male gaze intersect lies a paradox of jumbled expectations and inconsistent messaging about how women are supposed to exist. Women are expected to play both whore and Madonna, with the choice being left up to the whims of whatever thin-skinned man they happen to be partnered with in that moment. It's freakishly insecure behavior that shouldn't be normalized or hidden. Because if powerful women like Palmer can be subjected to this kind of misogynistic overreach, it's hard to imagine what happens to the women whose stories we never hear. At the end of the day, the relationship between women's bodily agency and the male ego is an abusive marriage where one must be crushed in order for the other to survive. And as long as women remain in the chokehold of this dynamic, male admiration will almost always find a way to morph itself into resentment, insecurity, and, in the worst of cases, rage.